internet, and welcome to season 377, episode 3 of DAILY ZEITGEIST! Production of iHeartRadio. This is a podcast where we take a deep dive into America's shared consciousness. It is Wednesday, February 26, 2025. It is the 7th birthday of my youngest. Shout out to that young man.
Happy birthday to that young man.
Happy birthday to that young man. It's not that I'm like keeping his name off for privacy purposes. I just can't remember it right now. So
it's hard to keep track. How many do you have, Jack?
2.
yeah. When it gets up to that number, it's hard.
When you get up to
remember.
2, it can be tricky. I can't. The little guy. There he is. There's my buddy.
Little youngman.
That's what I call him. My name is JackO'Brien, a.k.a. cheese drool from everything I'm nomming. Cream, get the dairy. Dairy in all my meals, y'all. That one courtesy of Hanoramic View on the Discord. Also got Hentron calling me Jack, quote, eggnog pervert O'Brien. This in reference to yesterday's episode where I was talking to our young guest, Garrison Davis, and they were saying they still like fettuccine Alfredo and clam chowder. And I was like, I'm too old to eat such cream-based stuff. And then realized that I still drink eggnog, like even when it's not Christmas.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's a year-round for you?
Yeah, I fucking love eggnog, you guys. I can't help myself.
I remember when I was like a PA in LA, which meant like I was like a non-unionized Teamster was essentially how they used us, like unloading trucks when people
that sounds a lot
looking.
tougher than what I believe the actuality of being a PA is, but
of my lie. And
non-unionized Teamster.
I remember like we would also get lunch, of course, and there's a place called Bossa Nova on Sunset, I think,
which is how you have to pronounce it when you're a Teamster.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And
Bossa
they had
Nova.
this full like bacon like fettuccine carbonara Alfredo like that I would have for lunch in my early 20s and then I would unload trucks in the heat and it made no difference whatsoever.
Right.
Now,
it's like drinking when you're
hospital.
Young versus when you're old. Like hangovers now feel like a terminal
car crash.
Disease.
Yeah.
They feel like you are dying from something. And back then it was just something that you would like kind of get through.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, cream is different. I guess it's worse now that I like do it knowing that it's going to give me diarrhea. Whereas back then, I don't think I knew. I was just like, I love fettuccine Alfredo and often have diarrhea.
I guess this is how people shit.
This is just life, I guess.
I guess everybody's loudly shitting their pants twice a week.
Yeah.
I don't know why they got to give me the nickname about it. I'm sure it's happening to everybody else. Anyways, thrilled to be joined in our second seat by a brilliant comedian, writer, actor. His special is Daddy Longlegs. He's the coiner of the disgusting phrase plumpers to describe his thighs. It's Blake Wexler!
Hey, this is Blake Wexler, a.k.a. Strap. That's what I get. Shove that wooden swab down my neck, but I've got shows to plug. That's why I'm talking to you in my office with this bugaboo. I've tested positive for strep throat. I'm the strep throat goat, but I'm fine. No. Everything's okay. I'm on antibiotics. I'm pro-antibiotic. And yeah, it's great.
Congratulations
so, hope you don't
on
get
that. It's really going around.
It's going around.
Our eldest, again, don't really remember his name, but had it
7.
very recently. He's 8. And then our youngest is turning 7 today. Blake, try and keep up. Jesus Christ.
I don't. If you think you have trouble remembering who your kids are.
I also want to give you the AKA Phantom of the 9/11 Memorial because you do haunt the 9/11 Memorial. You were explaining where you are in the world, and you just made reference. I'm 8 minutes from ground zero.
From having a heart attack. from all the eggnog.
8 minutes at any time from the World Trade Center. Anyways, welcome to the Phantom.
Thank you. I would love to know what the nutritional information is on eggnog, and we will get to that in the third break. Go ahead,
It's
Jack.
so wild. It is.
Yeah.
It's like a different substance. First of all, it is like kind of a non-Newtonian substance in that it's like neither solid nor liquid. It's like somewhere in between. But it's also like the number of calories per like thimble of that is so It's like the most calorically dense food that has ever been created. It's
I'm pretty
wild.
sure it's just like it's like eggs and cake frosting or something.
Yeah, that's basically it. Is a more viscous cake frosting. It's like a cake frosting that drinks easy, basically.
So easy. It drinks
How that
so
cake
easy.
frosting drink
That's also like subjective whether or not it drinks easy. But
goes down easy, Mort. Let me tell you. That's why. It's also why all the method actors who gain weight for the roles and they're like, I would just melt a pint of ice cream, or I think Sylvester Stallone for Copland ate pancakes every day. It's like, just drink fucking eggnog. It's like there for you. What are you doing? You're just like trying to be dramatic, but like all you need to do is drink a pint of eggnog a day and you're good. You're golden. Anyway, I've been telling them that, but they won't answer my fucking letters.
No one answers. It's
I've been
crazy.
actively stalking about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
You've been making eggnog water balloons. Sorry, go ahead.
Drink it. Blake, we're thrilled to be joined in
Yeah,
our
we
third seat by a very funny comedian, actor, writer, improviser, whose special, Spiritually Filthy, you ought to go check out right now. One of our favorite guests on the show, old friends reunited, Blake, and it's Mort Burke!
yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Dude?
Hey.
Thanks for having me, sweet bros. It's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks
Sweet
for being
Bros.
here.
That was
Sweet
the
as
other
bros.
name that we were considering for the podcast.
Sweet, beautiful bros.
Sweet,
Beautiful
bros. SBBs. How you doing, Mort?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, apparently Blake was informing me before we started that he and I met 17 years ago because we're
Incredible.
both 64 years old.
16 years old.
Yeah, that's
The worst riffer.
Yeah, when I was on tour with David Cross, we met. Was it in L.A., Blake?
It was in Boston. So I was going to
Boston.
Emerson, which was right across the street from that theater that you both were at. But,
Amazing. Yeah, that's
yeah.
where we filmed that special.
oh, no way.
I think
that's
it was
cool.
Boston, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, they would film a lot there. That's great.
On a comedy tour, 6 months sober. That's hats off to you. That must have been a tough one.
Yeah, I was like 6 months sober at the time, and Cross is my idol, and he had written "I Drink for a Reason," which I totally read and was like, okay, well, like let's see how this goes.
Me too. I
guess I'll just pick up the
there.
sobriety thing in 8 months.
Right.
I'll see you in a year. Sobriety.
Nice.
Good Lord. Good for you.
Well,
Thanks,
thrilled to have you here. Thrilled to have you both. I'm going to be honest. Excited to have you both. We're going to get to know you a little bit better in a moment. Mort, first, a couple of things we're talking about. I just want to look at some of the headlines about these Nazi salutes. They seem to be gaining popularity amongst some leaders on the right. And the media seems to be like, wait, what the heck was that thing he's doing with this? Did he? Nah.
Is there a bug loose? Was he swatting at a bug?
So I just want to look at them and then look at Nick Fuentes' reaction as compared to the mainstream media's reaction. We'll talk about Bernie Sanders' cross-country tour, some tech oligarchs are reenacting the end of Dr. Strangelove, like more and more. It's just every day the news cycle is Dr. Strangelove. So we're going to talk about some underground bunkers that they're building in case of apocalypse. And then I want to look at these point of view, you wake up in, enter historical period, ancient Rome, the Middle Ages, the Black Plague, and just test them for historical accuracy, because I feel like they're being created at a rapid pace, and 5 million views each on some of these fucking things. I don't know if you guys have seen them.
I watched one of them, and it's as fucked as you'd think it would be.
I do.
It somehow manages to be as fucked as you. That's crazy.
I've got some complaints, but I've also got a rave, one very specific rave for them. So we'll talk about that. We might even get to the new Barney movie coming from A24, which is exciting. All of that, plenty more. But first, Mort, we do like to ask our guest, what is something from your search history that's revealing about who you are?
You know, as the skateboarding liaison to this podcast, I was looking up, I was just in Arizona for the Slow Impact gathering, which is this like kind of academic skateboard conference thing. So I was looking up the schedule for that, but it is so sick. It's put on by this dude, Ryan Lay, who's pro for New Balance and Sci-Fi Fantasy. And so many highlights. I got to do stand-up for like 100 skateboarders in the Cowtown skate shop out there, which is a rad skate shop.
Nice.
And met some pros. Just 16-year-old Mort was just thrilled with the whole thing. It was
pretty cool.
That's awesome.
You are skateboarding as you're doing stand-up, and they're skateboarding along with you. Is that correct?
Yeah. And
you just have a really long cord.
Yeah. I broke my wrist.
Yeah. Those are your closer.
Huge mistake.
Nice. What? Slow Impact, huh?
It's called Slow Impact. Yeah, and it's great. It's like there's a guy, this dude named Ted Schmidt, who's got a PhD in architecture, and he took us around, gave us a tour of ASU, where he just talked about like, this building was built by Frank Lloyd Wright's son, and this ledge is one of the earliest flat-top ledges in Arizona. Like shit like that. It was like very niche and very fascinating. Yeah.
Was Frank Lloyd Wright's son like a great architect and also a skater?
He was not a skater. His son-in-law, but very clearly was like Frank Lloyd Wright made a building there, and it's huge. And then Frank Lloyd Wright's son-in-law has one that's like kind of standing in its shadow, sort of sadly, in this like Oedipal complex way that Ted Schmidt pointed out. Yeah, it was,
wow.
Never ends.
That's Frank Lloyd Wright. I'd hate to be Frank Lloyd wrong. I also, I think, bang. I think my wife read like a slightly erotic novel about Frank Lloyd Wright, and I think it was called Loving Frank. And if I'm off, hold on. If I'm off, Loving Frank book.
Like Frank Horny, right?
There it is.
Thank you.
Also really good. Also really good, guys.
It was about an adulterous affair that he had with a woman. All right, there you go. So yeah, if you want to get horny,
a woman,
a woman,
and you can find other steamy descriptions like that in the book. So here comes Frank Lloyd Wright, and there's this woman, and they're gonna get it on, I guess. I don't know.
He took off whatever the hell it was she was wearing.
You described it as somewhat erotic, and then that's exactly what your description was.
That is the genre, actually. It's not erotic fiction. It's somewhat erotic fiction.
Yeah. They tried intercourse.
They tried intercourse.
They tried it.
Give it a shot.
I left.
Give it a shot, and it was pretty okay. They weren't sure if they were going to keep doing it, but, you know.
He ejaculated.
Oh, no. It got so clinical. There's some wild stuff. I went and saw Falling Water. I think that's the big famous house outside of Pittsburgh that Frank Lloyd Wright made. And there's a story from his past that I don't have in front of me, but it's basically like this horrible horror movie style massacre that happened at his house to his family, like while he was out of town. That is a little known story that I don't know, worth looking up. I'll give you a little Wikipedia rec if you want to look up.
Wait, Frank Lloyd Wright's family?
Frank Lloyd Wright's family. Whoa. Yeah, it was fucking wild. Like at like this beautiful house that he had built, and then like one of the people who worked there just, went wild with an axe one day on the whole family. It's crazy story.
Holy moly.
And I bet that's not in your little kind of sort of erotic fiction book, Blake.
Yeah.
I like it. This is a comedy podcast. I like to keep it
I'm really
fun.
sorry I said Frank Horny right.
Yeah, Jesus.
Guy was horny though. I think he was out of town on an affair. So
I have one more story that I think is interesting from this skate weekend, which is that there's this pro named Tom Carangelo who's sick. He's pro for New Balance, and he's like an interesting, artful dude. Which skateboarding is an art form, whether you recognize it or not. So
Jack.
Not on this podcast. Not on this podcast. I'll tell you that much. You can say whatever.
I know. Yeah, you guys are pro cop. I know that. You guys don't. You hate the
all cops are beautiful.
Why can't you listen to them when they say no skating here? Why can't you listen to them?
Yeah.
God. So this dude did this thing where he's a cinephile, so he goes to all these different places and looks for skate spots, and he's super into John Carpenter. So there's this whole thing where they follow him around like all of Pasadena to all these different parts where they filmed Halloween, and he's skating spots around there. And my wife is friends with John Carpenter, kind of.
Wow.
Like, he's a big gamer, and she is in the gaming industry. She does voice. She's like the head of a franchise. She does video game voices.
Wow.
And I had her send John Carpenter this interview with this skateboarder, and then he responded. So then I was able to tell Tom Carangelo, like, hey, John Carpenter saw that video. I know that for sure. And he was like, dude, that made my life. Thank you so much. Like, he was so hyped to hear this. It was just a really true cool life highlight for me.
Yeah, that's such a fun sort of epilogue to a career. Like John Carpenter, one of the great filmmakers, maybe the greatest of like the 80s. And people are like, why doesn't he make movies anymore? Did he pass away? And it's like, no, he just like discovered video games, and he was like, holy shit, these are so fucking fun.
This is sick.
Like just doesn't make movies anymore. People are like, why don't you make movies? Like, video games are really fun. Like,
yeah,
I just like to get high and watch video games.
It's like an angsty teen in his basement who's like, I don't want to work.
Yeah, basically.
And he plays. We went and saw him at the Palladium, and it's pretty sick. He has a band that just plays John Carpenter style music, and there's like smoke effects, and it's like pretty dark.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, he made a lot of the music for his movies. What is something you think's underrated?
Underrated. This is a very personal one. I'm going sunscreen.
Okay.
I'm a fairer gentleman. I'm on the fair side of the complexion, and just being in Arizona this weekend, I realized, like, dude, if I wasn't constantly shellacking myself with like 70 SPF, which is basically glue, like if you use that shit, it's just like stays
there's
on
no
right.
rubbing it in.
No, you're just like wearing it. Yeah, it's like wearing a weird...
what color you are now.
It's like a suit or something. Like, is that guy bright white?
Yeah.
But if I wasn't having that, I would look like I just got out of like a skin graft surgery. I would be bright red and like peeling and stuff. Totally a lifesaver.
Yeah, there you go.
We were talking about like getting older, where it's like, oh, you can't drink as much, you can't have as much cream-based products, but it is like I do find myself not caring what bucket
how
hat,
you look at all.
Like whatever. Now I have a sun shirt. I have a sun shirt now.
For the beach. Yeah.
For the beach. No, for my living room. And
when I get in the shower.
We have a skylight that has been decimating my skin. I have stage 4 skin cancer from the skylight in my living room.
Is this steadily turning into like a middle-aged health tips podcast?
Yeah, it might be. That's all right with me. Smoke weed and pick up video games. You'll be great. We also offer retirement advice. What is something you think is overrated?
I'm gonna go with an ice cold take here and say social media, guys.
Come on,
what? I know, but like, what are we doing? What the fuck? First of all, we're all working for Meta for free. Every single day. That's all we do is raise money for Meta. And initially it's supposed to like connect artists to their audience. And you can have lots of followers and they will never see your post because of the way the algorithm works. It's terrible for mental wellness. It's fucking we share all this important political information, and yet somehow the country seems to continue. It doesn't get more progressive. The only thing I think we should all just like fucking gently delete our apps, put the phone down, walk away unless you are on TikTok and your algorithm is like my wife's, which is just like a kitten yawning so loud it scares itself. Like if that's your algorithm, that's good for mental health.
Just put your wife in charge of all social media. She's like, all right, this one I can't see how it's going to be harmful. And then in 3 years, we have kitten Hitler that is like running.
The thing, you think it's going to get like, every day if I watch a duck that can play the piano, like I just have a better afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
That being said, follow me on.
Where can people follow you?
Where can people find you?
It does feel like, I think like part of it is that we used to have church or bowling leagues or like places to actually connect with other people, like through all the things that,
There's nothing wrong with what you said, but it was church or
bowling leagues.
Bowling leagues.
Those are the only two.
That's it.
Well, there's like also other things that I'm drawing a blank on, but like
saying.
Lions clubs or elk clubs, these things
Knights
that like
of
used to
Columbus,
exist.
American Legion halls.
Yeah, we were all in the army. I don't know. But like people just had these things that they did with each other when they were done working, and you would like interact, you would like see people with your eyes and like pick up all the like subtle clues of like their body language and like just have this social experience that like the human organism was like designed for. And now that shit all went away and it's being replaced by social media, which has like hacked into the circuitry that's like around that. And I think it's probably best if we just view it as a brain parasite. That is like when you look at how like what it has done to Elon Musk, what it has done to like Mark, like these are people who like start out as like, quiet nerds who are like left leaning, and then like, whatever, it just seems for whatever reason, it seems to like take the human brain down this one specific direction.
Until you're in like wielding a chainsaw on stage in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Middle of the day.
I thought for a while, like there's this thing that they used to talk about in philosophy that was like the singularity, when robots come and like they're so much smarter than us that like they called it AI back then. So like that's this whole AI movement is picking up on that. But the idea was like that there will be a point where like there's going to be this organism that comes and can like take over control of like humankind. And I've thought for a while that like that is the internet. The internet like has done this to us. It's like taken over control. It is like, controlling us. It's such a weird thing to say, to be like the internet is the hive, but it's like this hive mind that is like powered by us individually or like collectively, but that like nobody has control over, and it like changes how people behave in like a really profound way that seems to be like bent on our destruction if you like view it as a whole, like from a distance. So I would second your overrated. All to say.
And it's like they spend millions upon millions to make it hyper addictive. And the thing about addiction is it is progressive. So like you get sicker and sicker, and you don't realize that's happening because there's part of the thing is self-denial. Yeah. So that all of a sudden you're like ignoring your children. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden you're like screaming, "I am become meme." Yeah. And you're 56 or whatever the fuck.
Right.
When you should, you know what I mean? When you should be like being good to your grandchildren at that point,
Oh my God.
like gently settling back into the sundowning of your life,
Dying. You should be dying, not whatever the fuck this is. Yeah. Not killing people.
Yeah. Rage. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. Let's take a quick break.
Enough.
And enough of that shit. We'll be right back. And we're back. And hey.
Hello.
Hey. So we talked on yesterday's episode, CPAC happened. I'm calling that right. Yeah, CPAC, not CPAP. I get those two confused in my brain.
You do.
I don't know why. So there were a couple Nazi salutes, namely, Steve Bannon did one that the crowd seemed to respond positively to. And
also, what took him so long? Like, how has that not been his 80th that he's done, at this point?
Right?
That sack of shit. He's been such a sack of shit, like, openly for so long. Like, it's like, all right, well, I guess it's free reign. Like, he wouldn't even have done it.
It's wild, the people that like are evil and look evil. That's a fact.
Right.
Usually, like, evil people are like really hot, so it's hard to tell. You know what I mean? But he is.
Yeah.
This is very superficial, but he's melting from the inside.
Yeah. There's a thing like nominative determinism where people with the name Dennis are more likely to be dentists, and it's like so stupid that it's like hard to even like talk about because people are like,
he should be Stotzi Bannon.
Right, exactly. Well, but I'm saying like I feel like there's a appearance determinism.
Genocide Steve.
Yeah, right. Like he looks evil, and therefore like something in him is like gravitating in that direction. He's like, well, I might as well, right? But the way the media in the U.S. in particular seems to be responding to these things, I guess I don't know what I want them to do, but like calling it, like phrasing it as a question, I guess is getting on my nerves. We have this headline here. Did Steve Bannon flash a Nazi salute at CPAC? Like that's what you get if you just Google Steve Bannon Nazi salute. Is
it a legal thing? And if so, can we please have that go through the courts so we can start calling it a Nazi salute, please?
Right.
Like, is that, because that's the only thing I can think of is that, we don't want to be sued for saying it's a Nazi salute. And then it would have to be decided by this wonderfully progressive Supreme Court. Is it a Roman salute? Fucked. Fucked argument or a Nazi salute. Yeah, it's so bad.
Maybe that is it, because like there is a headline like right next to it in the doc. Like I took a screen cap of just the results, and like right next to it is Bannon gives Nazi salute at CPAC, and that one's from like a website that has the extension .cz. So I think, a non-American website feels comfortable.
I thought that was a comedy sports website, short form improv team.
The political arm of comedy sports is strong.
Give us a suggestion of your least favorite political leader.
Yeah, there's a tweet from like Ballsack Sports. Have you seen these? Like the handle at Ballsack Sports, and they're like, he's a fucking Nazi. You got like somebody who like tweets like random sports shit all the time. Just like woke up, I guess, yesterday and was just like, what the fuck? These guys are fucking Nazis. What's happening?
There's no parody anymore.
But no, it's like, I don't believe anybody can tell the future, and I also think we need to be very aware of what's happening. It's like the progression, the frightening possibility for progression is like, is there something wrong with these internment camps? You're like, can we fucking call it what it is?
Right.
Exactly. I think people have seen the video by now, but I just want to play this clip of Nick Fuentes, who is like the go-to like open Nazi, like he's a Nazi, like he's like, yeah, I'm a Nazi, like I like Hitler, and he has responded to both the Elon Musk salute and the Steve Bannon salute in the same way, which is like kind of weird. He's like the one person who seems to be clear on this. And I wonder if it's just because like he recognizes like, oh yeah, there's like nothing bad is going to come of this for me now. Like my side has won. I can like speak openly about what this is.
It is wild that he has like sort of an ethnic last name,
I know, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the weird thing about like white supremacy, is that the weird thing about whiteness is that it changes, right? Like, because it used to, Irish and Italian people weren't considered white, and now they are. So it's like there's this sort of bizarre evolution where like Kanye's trying on white supremacy.
Yeah.
Fuentes is doing, it's bizarre.
Yeah, if you look at the names, it's like, oh well, this won't be what we think it's going to be.
Like, they should kill everybody who's got my exact last name. You're like, what are you doing?
Not me.
Not me. My
Not
cousins.
Me. My mom and my dad.
Yeah. My brother.
Yeah.
My niece. Not me.
My wife. Sorry, Jack.
This was some sick shit. Bannon gets up there and says, I think Trump's going to run in 28. He goes, we want Trump. And then he throws up a straight up Roman salute. It's getting a little uncomfortable even for me. Even I'm starting to feel like that guy in the picture that wouldn't hail Hitler.
We all know that reference. All right. So,
Yeah.
And then, I mean, he had the same reaction to the Elon Musk one, which again, the media was like, we got to give the guy the benefit of the doubt.
And then the straight up, that was a serious Roman. It wasn't even like a subtle, like a wave, like one of these, like a Laura Ingraham. Remember when Laura Ingraham did that? That was a straight up, like, Sig Heil, like, loving Hitler energy. That was like a straight up, with intensity Roman salute.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So that's the guy who seems like he knows so much about Nazi salutes that he has like references to. He's like, I feel like the guy in that one picture we've all seen where like everybody's giving the Hitler salute and like he's not, this guy, he has like a historical knowledge. He worked on Kanye's political campaign and was like writing Hitler-based ideas into Kanye's presidential campaign. Remember that was the thing?
Yeah.
He's a bit of an expert in like all the worst fucking possible ways. He seems to be pretty clear on like what's going on here. It's just so weird to me that the US media is still framing it as a question or saying he's being accused of doing something that in the article, like right above it, there's a video of him doing the thing that he's being accused of.
Yeah, especially when everything else is so clickbaity. You know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, I guess it maybe is the possibility of a defamation suit or whatever, but why is this the one thing that they're avoiding using the most sensationalistic terms to describe?
Yeah. It must be like legally defensive. I don't know.
And no, when you watch these pieces of shit do it too, like it's almost like watching a kid, like they know they just did they did something naughty, even like fucking melt face Elon, like when he was doing it, he looked around afterwards to be like, hey, what is about to happen now that I just did that? And even Bannon, who looks like a guy who just says hello to people that way on the street.
Right.
Like, even after he did it was like he kind of paused a little bit. There was a little bit of a hitch before, because they're like, I can't believe I'm about to do this thing. Like even the worst people in the entire world are like, like what's about to happen after I do this thing?
It's like when I gave somebody the middle finger for the first time when I was like 6 years old, and then I'm just like, ooh, I'm fucked. Yeah, I'm fucked.
Yeah, or that thing where you like throw a ball at somebody and you somehow are like, oh no, it's accidentally headed right for their face.
So you turn around and pretend it wasn't you.
Yeah. And you blame your friend because you're a coward.
Right.
But and it's amazing that even Fuentes is apparent. It looks like he's having a bit of a dark night of the soul in the same kind of way where it's like, oh wait, you're actually allowing us to try to do this.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to troll and pretend like, wasn't the Holocaust kind of cool, dude? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're in a position of power. There's got to be some part of your human soul that is like starting to recognize the terror a little bit, right?
Yeah. I think that's I don't know. I think he is having fun with like this moment where everybody's like looking to him as the Nazi to be like, wait, that was you would tell us if that was a Nazi salute, right?
Right.
But yeah, I think like he's able to, I guess, because he is an open and avowed Nazi, just say what it is, which like I think anybody with eyes can see that. It's
But it's like if the fucking teens from 4chan all of a sudden were like the vice president, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, they'd be like, whoops.
Right. One of the leaders, like France has a lot of like really scary far right parties, and one of the leaders was scheduled to speak at CPAC and like canceled his appearance after that because he was like, oh, that was like a straight up, we can't do that, right? But I guess like it feels like whatever the forces are on high that are like affecting how Americans society operates, it's just like America's the place where like that is okay, and like France and Germany and England are places like there are these like protest, like pieces of protest art that are going up overseas that there's a poster that says goes from 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds, the Tesla swastika that is fun, that went up I think in the UK.
That's great.
But like I feel like people are either like too scared to call it out in America, or they're just like don't care. I don't know. But it's like it's starting with the media being like allegations are flying that this thing happened in this video that we're about to show you. It's just like what it's not allegations at that point, is it?
And I just don't get the Nazi thing too, where it's like, all right, if you hate groups of people, like I'm speaking very analytically right now, but it's like, all right, if you hate Jews, you can just hate Jews, like it's not a cool team that you're associating with, where it's like they lost. They lost. They got their ass kicked in a war. Like he was dumb and a drug addict, like, so it's like, all right, so there's no cool Nazi for a reason, Right. So it's just such an odd thing where, these people who are supposed to love America, and it's like, so do you watch Saving Private Ryan, the first part, and then just boo Tom Hanks every time he comes on screen? Boo, fucker.
Tom Hanks
like
is, maybe that's where all
bad.
that, cause we've been talking about how much Tom Hanks hatred there is. And like speculating maybe it was because he was like patient, like the person who caught COVID, and everyone was like, oh no, dad has COVID. Like this is real. But maybe it's that. Maybe they're just like, watching Saving Private Ryan being like, this movie focuses on the bad guy the whole time.
Yeah.
What is this shit?
It's still, it's almost kind of not, it's similar to the way they hate Mr. Rogers. You know what I mean? Like if you watch that Mr. Rogers documentary, which is beautiful and heartbreaking, there's like footage of Fox News just calling him effectively a pussy. Like it's nuts. You know what I mean? And so there's this like group of men in America. There's a type of masculinity in America that is so lost and so feels so unworthy, and they're so desperate to feel superior, so desperate to have any kind of power, that they're like, oh yeah, the guy in the jack boots, he had it together at least. At least he had a sharp outfit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's truly bizarre.
Yeah. And the only way that he expressed power was in like overt acts of violence and weird hand gestures. And that's what speaks to me at this moment in history.
That cyanide pill had horse cock in it. He was a big strong. You little big Fuhrer. He was a huge Fuhrer. Like
thick boy.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right. Well, on that cyanide pill had a horse cock in it. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. And have you guys seen these? Have you seen this? You heard about this? Have you seen these POV you wake up in historical period videos? They're going viral on TikTok. We've got the _POV _lab. Yes. So they are AI generated. So first of all, I just want to, I'm going to have some complaints about these videos in a little bit. I do want to say,
I hope those complaints are somewhat humorous. That's what I'm holding out.
I'm with Mort on this one.
I do have a compliment that is in no way humorous. This is the first time I've seen POV used correctly on TikTok ever. Is it like these videos are from the point of view of a character who is waking up, like that he looks down and he sees his feet, type thing.
Like AI it's nerdy enough to get the perspective correct.
Yes. As opposed to like POV, you just saw like this happen, and like that is a thing that is used all over TikTok, and they never know what POV means. So
like you can see your own nose,
right?
Your teeth in it,
right?
It's like no, this
you
isn't
can just
the
like
end.
you just see yourself. It's just it means nothing. Anyway,
You're looking at something, right?
On the other hand, it's basically like a movie of the week level commitment to historical accuracy. And this is not shocking because not only do they use AI to generate the videos, like that's what I assumed it meant when it was like AI videos. They're using AI and like blending together all this different source material to get these videos that ostensibly look like they take place in ancient Egypt or during the Black Plague, but the person also uses AI to do all the research. So he just asks ChatGPT to research a time period, and then asks for information about like what people would have looked like and done. And as we've seen, ChatGPT and AI fucking sucks at answering questions like that. Google asked it for cheese facts for their Super Bowl commercial. And the cheese fact it came back with that they featured in their Super Bowl commercial was Gouda is, I think, responsible for like 60% of cheese consumption in the world. Like some fact that is like so obviously false that like any of us.
Why can
could've...
you show that but not say this is a Nazi salute? Right?
Exactly.
What the fuck is going on?
We're trying to destroy truth. So you have.
Yes.
When you have a thing that is about facts and is saying things definitively, you want it to be not true so that when something definitively horrible happens, that you can be like, we don't know. I mean, fucking Google says Gouda is responsible for most cheese consumption. Obviously, that's not true, but what is truth anymore?
Thank you.
That
we'll be right back. You're listening to iHeart Radio on 96.6 The Six.
The Six? Wait, 96.6 is called The Six?
Yeah.
What a weird choice by them.
I don't know what they were doing over there.
Yeah. But let's take quick looks at some of these.
I don't want to watch this one.
All right, so this one's during the Black Plague. A lot of horrible shit happening. Real quick, you see a rat that is also a cat walk by.
That's what that was.
Yes. This person is you're buying bread off the filthiest person ever, giving the bread to another person. And your hands, the hands are always visible. That must be like something that the AI dictates. Then you give the medicine to an old sick man. So there's a story. They're not just trying to tell you about history. They are storytellers. And then the person falls over dead. So it's like, you dumbass, you shouldn't have given that medicine to an old sick person.
Can I just say on that, those like the uncanny valley thing there is like perfectly executed, because the eyes of the people suffering from the Black Plague are the most haunted eyes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like that is horrifying.
But they all like kind of have beautiful eyes.
They are all kind of hot.
Everybody would be kind of hot and look like they're in like a perfume commercial about the Black Death,
Yeah,
It's
they all kind of look like Winona Ryder a little bit.
Yeah. Your skin is covered in dirt, but it's gorgeous.
Because all they're doing is like mixing all the faces from media. And so like it's mostly actors, presumably. And so you just have like hot people looking a little gaunt. All right, this one we're getting to see Pompeii on the day of the eruption. That part is weird. I think it's just a glitch of the AI. The guy's like holding his hand out and then opens his mouth, but nothing is said.
Well, you know how all the Renaissance painters were like, "Hey, like and subscribe to my work," before they drew it on a ceiling.
Right, exactly.
Wilt thou smash thy like button?
Right. So, but all this like feels like, I don't know, could be somewhat
great a boy.
realistic-ish. Uh-oh. You know what's coming next. This Mount Vesuvius. A piece of pottery just like flies up for no reason.
Wait, where are the hands? How am I supposed to understand what's happening if there's no hands?
Yeah, POV. This person is pretty chill for being in a POV. Look at that one. Did you guys see that one?
Why are they running towards it?
They're running
What
towards
the fuck?
it. Just goes full Roland Emmerich.
It immediately becomes a river of fire.
A river of fire, and then there's like a fire laser beam coming down the street, like it's the fucking the aliens from Independence Day are attacking.
It's like AI read Save the Cat. You know, where they like put the cat in the tree, but it doesn't understand like that it can very easily go too far where it's no longer entertaining at all. It's just a nightmare.
Right.
Like,
This might be the strep talking, but this is the most relaxed I've been in weeks watching that video. I don't know what it is. It really soothed me watching
there is
Pompeii.
something soothing about it, I will say. Like there's just the rhythm of the videos. There's like a
slow-mo, like
you feel like you're in a dream. Like that has always been the coolest. I think whoever ultimately harnesses what is good about AI will dig into the fact that they just feel like the wildest dream you've ever had. You know, like they feel like an acid trip mixed with just a dream that you remember vividly.
is it because it's like it's so real, but it's detached from reality in the same way that dreams are?
Yeah, it's like there's no narrative logic to like the images. You have to like kind of harness it and like press as hard as you can on both sides. Just like keep it on the rails a little bit. There are some great ones where they don't do that, and it's just like person in a laundromat turns into like a rocket that is flying through the air, turns into like an amazing tropical fish, turns into like all these like wild, beautiful visuals.
I wish they all did end like that. It's like POV, you're like an 80s musician in a synth band, but it just ends with like a volcano and fire explosions.
Yeah.
Producer Bay dropped one in the chat that says "Waking Up in North Korea," and it's the dumbest video I've ever seen in my life. You have to watch it. They totally mailed it in on this one. It's like also shorter.
They've skinned one video and then just replaced details around it. Seems to be the thing that they're doing.
Right. Man, even AI's cutting corners. It's tragic.
That is basically all AI does.
Well, don't
Is cut corners.
say mean things.
It's all these participation trophies we gave AI.
So you wake up, North Korea in 2025 looks like
That's this year.
an apartment apartment in the Lower East Side, but okay.
And that's the video.
And now you've learned everything you need to know about AI, about North Korea and AI.
Learning about our leader.
Finally
like,
home again.
I like that the paper that they're writing on looks like somebody wiped their ass with it for some reason. Like they can't
It's ass
have
paper.
You gotta reuse your toilet paper for writing down notes about dear leader. The details that the BBC, because they're good at content, had historians watch these videos because these videos are like blowing up. They have like 5 million views. And the historians were pointing out like some of the stuff was a little pedantic, a little Neil deGrasse Tyson-ish, where it was like they're reading the hieroglyphics from left to right, and actually it should be right to left. But some of the things they point out is just like, oh, that would have like made the video so much more interesting. Like they point out, like they did a Chernobyl one, and they were saying they like made the technology shittier than it actually was, and like the technology in Chernobyl and in the Soviet Union at that time was actually like pretty impressive and advanced, which is like not what you would expect. And that's what is interesting about it. Like they point out that like the bread, you may have noticed that every story like focuses on a person holding a piece of bread in front of the camera for some reason. That's because I don't know, that worked for them in one video, so they added it to all the rest of their videos. Just a person holding out bread as we do.
I hope everyone like starts to turn into bread, and the cars are bread. You're a piece of bread.
You're a bread man now.
They start hiring editors, like, because it's become such a big business, and it's like, where the fuck is the bread in this video? Where's the bread in the JFK assassination?
POV.
The shooter holds up a piece of bread. We're firing. Shoots through a bread silencer, like a baguette silencer at the end of the rifle.
Dude, a bunch of butter comes out of the back of his head.
Yeah, now we're thinking like AI. Yes. But they were pointing out that like the bread didn't look like that, and I'm
crumbs
like,
all
what
over
did it
Jackie's
look like?
Dress or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is. JFK is just a gingerbread man.
She has her hair in a bun.
Come on.
Bun.
Come
What?
on. Oh, you didn't. Yeah.
There's a croissant
people didn't
driving the limo. Yeah.
It just gets lazier and lazier.
Anyways, this is. I think if you actually used a human to do the research before making these videos, they could be cool. But they instead cooler. Instead, they have just farmed everything out to ChatGPT. Which are you guys encountering people in your lives being like, "Hey, I just like stuck this into ChatGPT. Like, I used AI to fill out this thing for us. Like that's so there you go." And it's like, this fucking sucks. It's so bad. It's bad every time. Yeah.
I found it's either people who are being very lazy, and I think that's the best version of it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't feel like doing this, I'm going to do it in ChatGPT. Or they have no creative bone in their body whatsoever, and they're dumb. And I actually that sounded mean.
No.
I mean
How
that,
could
but
it
I
have
didn't
been
want to
meant
say
any
it.
other way? I think it's like, for a lot of people, it's like a thing to brag about. It's like, remember when like people first had iPhones and they're like, look, this iPhone can like do a lightsaber. Like, this
like a
iPhone like
Tamagotchi.
makes a fart noise. Like, yeah. Like, it's just a thing to be like, I have this thing and I know how to use it, even though the thing that it does is fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a better point, where it's almost like a shiny new toy, basically.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, look at this cool new toy that you don't know how to use or don't have or have chosen not to use, and I'm using it. But then it's like, that's not a good toy. That toy sucks. Like, there's other toys.
These people all think this will swear up and down this is the future. And like everything is going to run by AI soon. So, which is,
I'm having this experience. I don't know why, but I was using it. It seemed like it was better like a year ago. I'm not like, whatever, like in my day, AI, but like I basically learned how to do this kind of podcast studio I have in my room almost exclusively from AI, because I'm not like very technologically gifted or whatever.
Right.
But now it's like, it seems like it's gotten way worse somehow. I don't know. Huh. I think it has. Isn't there something about it's like now it's also drawing from AI, so it's like this sort of like
brain rot,
artless misinformation loop. That's probably why that Gouda thing happened,
right? Yeah, just inevitable like devolving because it's pulling on itself. Yeah, it's like cancer metastasizing.
This isn't like a funny take, but I really think my thing is like, I don't actually think AI is the problem. I think capitalism is the problem. AI is just a tool. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a great tool, an artist will use, an actor, whoever will utilize it properly. But the problem is that we're all almost facing eviction all the time, so we can't afford to lose any fucking jobs. Whereas if that wasn't the problem, we could just use this shit to make things easier for us, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, not you. Yeah. Not you. You can't use it for that. The companies can use it for that.
Well, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. No. I know.
And the companies own their properties, so they're not going to be evicted. They've paid off their mortgages. But they can use it, to Jack's point.
Yeah. But the most thoroughly pointless one, they made a Titanic one. They're like, POV, you're a person on the Titanic. And as if the movie Titanic doesn't exist. But then I think they realized I think they realized it's pointless because halfway through that video, like as the hallways are like flooding with seawater, the camera like dips below the water and a shark is coming down the hallway. I think they were just like, you know what? The one way we could have made Titanic better is if there had been fucking sharks on the boat.
Everyone's floating on pieces of bread. Big loaves.
A mother holding its child, but it's a bread.
It's a bread loaf. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it sounds like I think AI has a fucking anxiety disorder. Like it feels like it's having intrusive, catastrophizing thoughts. Like no matter what, it can only discuss like terrible catastrophes. It's silly.
It just averages out things that have come before, and then also does what it thinks you want it to do. And so it's just building into expectations. And that is, as I've always said, exactly how great art is created. Average everything before it, imitate that, but do it in a way that you think people want to see it and in no way upsets expectations. And that's how you create great art.
Do no curious exploration in any capacity.
No.
Push no boundaries. Yep.
That's right. Push PNB, pushing no boundaries. Mort Burke, what a pleasure having you on the Daily Zeitgeist. Where can people find you, follow you, all that good stuff?
Such a blast, dude. Thanks for having me, guys. Always super fun. Yeah, you can just find me at Mort Burke on Instagram. And should I plug a couple things?
Yeah, by all means.
Hell yeah. We've got my lovely wife and I have a podcast called Rebrand. You can find us Rebrand the podcast on Instagram. We got like 18 episodes out. We just did one with Beth May of Dungeons and Daddies where we rebranded the Oscars. Every episode, there's an episode we rebrand Ghost. Not Ghost, the movie. That'd be sick. We should do that. We rebranded Ghosts. We rebranded Men. The first one is Bagel Bites. So anyway, it's super funny. We're really proud of it. Check out Rebrand.
That's great.
And also watch Mythic Quest on Apple TV. I'll be popping up in an episode in a couple of months here, I think.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rebrand Ghosts, the sequel to the movie Ghost. The James Cameron one where he walked into this office, wrote Ghost S $.
It's just a thruple, so it's like two ghosts on Patrick Swayze.
Right, is there a work of media that you've been enjoying?
The internet is always like here and gone, here and gone. So I always like reading old Rob Delaney tweets because he was such a hilarious, he was so funny on tweets, and everybody immediately forgets about it all the time. So here's one from 2023. Rob Delaney. My wife wanted to make love tonight. Had to take a rain check. I'm still so fucking angry about the Chinese spy balloon. I've never known rage or fear like this.
That one. Wow.
I just like shit that was huge and then we forgot about it. Like I love thinking about the don't tase me bro guy. I just like how quickly we move on.
I like turtles. So many good things.
I love
thought you were just saying you like turtles.
I was.
That is.
I love. You can't argue. I love turtles.
Blake, where can people find you? Is there a work of media you've been enjoying?
People can find me at Blake Wexler on all social media. I have some live dates coming up. March 13th, I'm at the Comedy Fort in Fort Collins, Colorado. And then March 15th, this is a big one. If there's any Zeit Gang in LA, I'm headlining the Ice House in Pasadena. Those tickets are available. It's a Saturday at 7. It's very reasonable. So March 15th, Ice House in Pasadena, and then April 4th through 5th, I'll be at Sisyphus in Minneapolis. And that LA show is going to have some fun special guests on it. Not that you need them. I'm enough. And plenty. The work of social media that has been kind of torturing me in a both. I don't know if it's bad. It's speaking of these AI videos. I don't know why they get sent to me. Maybe because I can't stop watching them. But it's called Vibe Generator Official. And they make the most fucked up, like, it's like, what if countries were animals, but all the animals are like jacked and shirtless for some reason.
I know.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And then it was like, I'm
I've
looking
seen
at
it
when
like where they cast various things, and they're like America the movie, and then it's like different actors playing various role. Like,
but they're
Donald
all very
Trump
like
is played by
buff and like shirt.
Yeah,
they're all like,
always.
And then there was one called Tiny World Police. And it's like basically they have like young boys from each country next to one of these beasts, like from the country. It's crazy. So if you want to lose your goddamn mind, don't watch. Like honestly, don't watch these. Don't watch these. Edit this all out. It's crazy. It's worse than those POV. Those POV videos are like Oscar bait compared to whatever the fuck these things are. It's crazy. Wow. So if you want to see jacked animals for some reason, check out these videos.
If you want to be turned into a furry, like if you want to be forced to have a fetish.
Yeah, and it's a very specific one. So
force-fed a fetish. Yeah. Work of media I've been enjoying, presumably that right when we get off this call. This is a little news item that we missed, but this is from NBA Centel. Wait, is this gonna be fake? Never mind. I think it's
Jack.
Did you read that the Mavericks organization announced they will ban fans from wearing Luka Doncic jerseys?
Oh, that's funny. But that's for sure not real.
I'm telling you, this is now a middle-aged self-help podcast.
Exactly. Hey guys, can you help me? Is this real?
Oh, this one's fake.
I've just been enjoying this Onion headline from a couple years ago. Happy person must either be stupid or evil.
That's great.
I think is really good for the moment. And then the body of the article, there's a twist at the end. He just got some ketamine, and that's why he's happy. He's clarified that he will be unhappy again later.
The third option.
That's right. You can find me on Twitter at Jack_O'Brien. You can find me on Blue Sky at JackO'B, the number 1 on Blue Sky. You can find us on Twitter at Daily Zeitgeist. We're at The Daily Zeitgeist on Instagram. We have a Facebook fan page and a website, dailyzeitgeist.com. You can go to the episode wherever you're listening to this and check out the description. And there you will find the footnotes, which is where we link off to the information that we talked about in today's episode. We also link off to a song that we think you might enjoy. And when Miles is out, super producer Justin comes through with the recommendation. Super producer Justin, is there a song that you think people might enjoy?
Yeah, so I found this song on SoundCloud the other day, and after our recording yesterday, Miles and Bay and I just stayed behind and jammed out to this. And this is a re-edit of a popular song, System of a Down's Chop Suey, but it's reimagined as a Jersey Club style dance track. And that description might turn off some of you, but I promise you're missing out. It's so fun.
You know what? Whoever that turns off, let them. I don't want you to listen to this podcast anymore.
You shouldn't. It's not for you. It's not for you. I don't know how to pronounce the name of these artists because I just found out about them yesterday, but this is Chop Suey, Osive, Osive, and Think Pink. There's no I's in either of those words. And this is their re-edit, and you can find that song in the footnotes.
Footnotes? Go find that in the footnotes after this. The Daily Zeitgeist is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. That's going to do it for us this morning. We're back this afternoon to tell you what is trending, and we will talk to you all then. Bye.